Morning. Today is Sunday, October 23rd, 2016. International Space Station Flight Control Room, awaiting the capture of the Cygnus cargo vehicle for Orbital ATK's OA-5 mission. The vehicle is just about at the 250-meter holding point away from the International Space Station as we pass just about 250 miles above China, entering an orbital sunset. Getting a good view of Cygnus. Astronaut Kate Rubins from the Cupola workstation aboard the International Space Station reported a good sight of Cygnus, as you can see from here, at 4:35 a.m. Central Time this morning. The Cygnus vehicle will remain at the 250-meter holding point as we enter the orbital sunset in just a few minutes here, and will remain there until sunrise. Everything is on track for a capture at 6:05 a.m. Central Time today. You're getting a look inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room at the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. The teams today, the Orbit 1 teams today, led by Flight Director Gary Horlocker. Next to him in the back, the Capcom Rebecca Wingfield. Meanwhile, up on the International Space Station, the robotic arm operators for today capturing the Cygnus vehicle for Orbital ATK's OA-5 mission, Takuya Onishi and Kate Rubins. In the back of the mission control today, we have the visiting vehicle officer, Jerry Yancheris, who will be talking with NASA officials in Virginia and relaying vehicle status updates to the flight director. Meanwhile, in Dulles, Virginia, at Orbital ATK's flight control room, the mission director there, Tony Foti, leading the teams in Dulles, Virginia.
Stand by for Cygnus transition to LiDAR navigation before performing Step 2 of 1.102.
Copy and standing by.
Rebecca Wingfield relaying the latest status of Cygnus up to the International Space Station. The robotic arm operators, Takuya Onishi, that's the voice of Kate Rubins that you were hearing from the Cupola workstation, following the steps as the Cygnus vehicle approached the 250-meter hold point and will remain there for the next, through the orbital sunset. Lots of traffic in space this past week. The Cygnus cargo vehicle launched earlier on Monday, October 17th, 6:45 p.m. Central Time, on top of Orbital ATK's upgraded Antares 230 rocket from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, or MARS, at NASA's Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. This was the return to flight for both Antares and the NASA Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. Again, launch was at 6:45 p.m. Central Time, Monday, October 17th. In orbit, the solar arrays deployed on time almost 2 hours later. After launch, Cygnus is on the rendezvous to the station now just over 5 days. This was to allow the Soyuz crew with 3 new crew members of Expedition 49 to dock to the station this past Friday, October 21st. The Cygnus cargo vehicle now approaching the International Space Station, again at the 250-meter hold point, carrying over 2.5 tons of food, supplies, and experiment to the International Space Station. Is a view from the Cuckoo workstation aboard the International Space Station, relaying telemetry data to the robotic arm operators, Takuya Onishi and Kate Rubins, as Cygnus remains at the 250-meter hold point. You'll see the view right now is getting a bit dark as we enter the orbital sunset, where the Cygnus vehicle will remain. Again, the Cygnus cargo vehicle, after launching Monday, October 17th, had a 5-day rendezvous to make room for the Soyuz crew that docked just this past Friday. The new Expedition 49 crew members Shane Kimbrough, Sergei Rizikov, and Andrei Borinsenko launched at 3:05 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday, October 19th from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. They had a nominal 2-day rendezvous with the new MSO-2 Soyuz vehicle docked to the International Space Station at 4:52 a.m. Central Time on Friday, October 21st. Hatches were opened just over 2 hours later at 7:20 a.m. Central Time. The 3 new crew members, Shane Kimbrough, Sergei Rizikov, and Andrei Borinsenko, are now aboard the International Space Station. Orbital ATK's resupply missions with the Cygnus cargo vehicle. All these vehicles each mission is named after a deceased astronaut. For Orbital ATK's OA-5 mission is named after Alan Poindexter. Poindexter is a is a NASA astronaut, veteran of 2 space flights, STS-122 aboard Atlantis, launched on February 7th, and had the mission extended to February 20th, 2008. That mission was to deliver the European Space Agency's Columbus module to the International Space Station. The next was a resupply mission, STS-131 aboard Discovery from April 5th to April 20th, 2010. Among the 13,000 pounds of resupply was new crew quarters that the astronauts aboard the International Space Station use today. Flight controllers here undergo some checks to make sure the Cygnus cargo vehicle will be ready to depart the 250-meter mark and make its next approach, the next hold point being at the 30-meter mark right before capture. The International Space Station is currently 250 miles above the Earth, now approaching the northeastern border of Australia. The International Space Station and Cygnus cargo vehicle are now in an orbital sunset. And the next departure point from the 250-meter mark will be right before sunset. Two and a half tons of food supplies and experiments aboard the Cygnus cargo vehicle, many of them new experiments. One is the Sapphire 2 experiment. This is the second in a series of 3 tests to see how fire burns in space with different materials. The first spacecraft Fire or Sapphire experiment tested one large sample, a 1-foot by 3-foot blend of cotton and fiberglass that ignited once the Cygnus vehicle departed from the International Space Station and was a safe distance away. This Sapphire 2 experiment will test 9 different materials, a bit smaller sample size, 2 inches by 10 inches, or 5 centimeters by 25 centimeters. Again, the experiment will not occur until Cygnus has been released from the International Space Station, scheduled now for November, and is a safe distance away. The experiment will begin, and data will be downlinked before Cygnus's destructive re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Among other experiments is the Cool Flames experiment. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's observing low-temperature combustion of droplets of various fuels and additives in microgravity. In previous combustion experiments, researchers observed cool flame burning behaviors not predicted by models or earlier investigations. Studies done on the ISS show that flames went out not once but twice, once with a visible flame and another without, meaning an invisible flame. Cool flames burn at about 600 degrees Celsius or 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, while typical candle flames burn at 2.5 times that, 1400 degrees Celsius. Cool Flames' payload include new camera systems designed to look at these invisible flames. They'll be mounted in the combustion integration rack, a payload already aboard the International Space Station. Flight controllers here assessing whether the go, no-go to depart the 250-meter mark and enter the keep-out sphere. This is the 200-meter mark away from the International Space Station that allows communications between the Cygnus vehicle and the International Space Station. This view that you're getting right now is on the International Space Station of the Cuckoo workstation. Uh, allows telemetry data to be seen by flight controllers here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room at Houston, Texas, and also the Takuya Onishi and Kate Rubins aboard the International Space Station. At the middle of the screen and to the right, you can see the VV to ISS. The vehicle is still holding at the 250-meter mark. Again, 2.5 tons of food supplies and experiments aboard the Cygnus cargo vehicle. Once the vehicle is grappled by the station's robotic arm and berthed to the International Space Station, the hatches themselves will not be open until Thursday, later this week. There are no time-critical experiments aboard the International Space Station right now, aboard the Cygnus vehicle. One of the other experiments is lighting effects. This is an experiment to test how different types of light may affect circadian rhythm or the quality of an astronaut's sleep. The system uses adjustable LEDs that vary in intensity and spectrum to increase alertness when awake and improve the quality of sleep. Lighting manipulation has the potential to be effective, non-pharmacological way to optimize sleep in space and can also improve quality of sleep for people on Earth that, say, work night shifts. The command given to depart the 250-meter mark. Cygnus cargo vehicle now on its way to the new hold position of 30 meters. We'll get a report from the visiting vehicle officer and the orbital flight controllers that it has passed the 100-meter mark before reaching the 30-meter hold point. That should be just after sunrise.
station, Houston on 2. Cygnus has transitioned to LiDAR for navigation. Confirm Cygnus 250-meter hold per step 2 in 1.102.
Copy, and we saw the LiDAR transition up here. We are at 250-meter hold. A gray corridor is displayed on the overlay. The PCS HCP LED status is per step 2. Pry range is 248, and I've got a block Bravo call if you're ready for it.
Ready to copy, Kate. Go ahead.
And when we were still in orbital daylight, previous to transitioning to LiDAR, we saw the vehicle was about 5 vehicle widths in monitor 1. That's camera 3, S1 lower outboard. That was starboard, and 1 vehicle width forward. That stayed pretty similar as we've moved to LiDAR, but I'm not going to give you a complete positive confirmation on that because it's dark now. We're having a little bit of trouble resolving the light at this distance, and we should see that come in as the vehicle gets closer. We saw that on SpaceX as well. The light is within the corridor and is not very different than the vehicle outline, but again, we'll need the vehicle to get closer. And the circle is not offset from the corridor center.
All right, Kate, that's all great data. At this time, are you able to give us a block Bravo from P1 lower outboard?
I can tell you the circle is not offset from the corridor center, and the vehicle is within the gray corridor, and for the size and the light offset from the circle, we will also need to wait until it gets a little closer in orbital darkness here to resolve it on the monitor.
Okay, I understand. Copy all. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, and just for just the visual confirmation out the window, the vehicle has been incredibly steady on approach and is holding very steady at the 250-meter hold.
Copy that. Thank you.
That was astronaut Kate Rubins in the Kubala workstation aboard the International Space Station describing her view from the 250-meter holding point as the International Space Station is in orbital night 260 miles above New Zealand right now.
Station Houston, Space to Ground 2, Cygnus and ISS are configured for...
Flight controllers here at the NASA Johnson Space Center and the International Space Station Flight Control Room communicating with flight controllers in Dulles, Virginia, now have given the go to depart the 250-meter holding point.
Station on Space to Ground 2, we had a quick handover there, so I copy expect approach to resume shortly, and we'll wait for your...
It's okay, the end of my call was expect approach to resume shortly and stand by for the PCS HCP command checkout. Can you repeat the last of your call?
We are standing by, and we will wait for your go for step 3 in the HCP checkout.
That's perfect, Kate. Thanks.
And the Cygnus cargo vehicle has now resumed approach to the International Space Station, departing the 250-meter mark. You can see from the Cuckoo workstation and the view right here, the center of the screen to the right, departing the 250 mark now at 238 meters and closing.
Station Houston back with you on Space to Ground 2. Cygnus has resumed approach. Go for PCS HCP command checkout. Hold arm per step 3 in 1.102.
Copy go for step 3 in 1.102 in work. And in step 3, we see VV mode approach, pi range 227 and decreasing as expected.
Decent copies.
NASA astronaut Kate Rubins reports from the Cupola workstation aboard the International Space Station. The Cygnus vehicle is approaching the International Space Station as expected, the right speed, the right angle, and we should be seeing 100-meter range check soon, right before the new 30-meter hold position just after sunrise.
Station on Space to Ground 2 in Block 3, the hold command is armed, and we see positive response on the PCS.
All right, Kate, hold arm confirmed. You are go for PCS HCP command checkout disarm per step 4 in 1.102.
We go for step 4 in 1.102.
That's a good read.
.200 meters and closing for the Cygnus cargo vehicle, now past the keep out sphere, the 200-meter mark away from the International Space Station, where commands can be sent to Cygnus.
Command is disarmed with positive response on PCS.
All right, Kate, that means the PCS HCP command checkout was successful. Begin monitoring approach from 250 meters per step 5 in 1.102.
We go for step 5. We're at 187, and we'll wait till we can resolve the vehicle a little better in orbital night and give you a Block Bravo call.
Sounds like a plan. Station Houston on 2, Cygnus is inside the 200-meter keep-out sphere. Crew now has authority to issue an abort if no comm with MCCH, and the light is outside the corridor.
And we see that in the table in step 5.
Confirmation from Capcom here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, and Kate Rubens aboard the International Space Station. The Cygnus is now inside the keep-out sphere. We'll get another check at the 100-meter mark. Again, 2.5 tons of food supplies and experiments aboard the Cygnus cargo vehicle, now approaching the International Space Station. We've gone through a few of the experiments. Another one is the Everywhere experiment. Everywhere as in W-E-A-R. This experiment will test a faster and more efficient way to collect personal data using a tablet app. The French-designed experiment collects and transmits data on nutrition, sleep, exercise, and medication. The app will have astronauts fill out questionnaires and keep medical and clinical logs. During exercise, astronauts will wear a smart shirt that records heart activity and body position to transmit to the app, and a fingertip device transmits pulse and blood pressure. Right here you're seeing a photo of Thomas Pesquet, one of the European Space Agency astronauts, launching to the International Space Station sometime in mid-November with NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson and cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky. Pesquet will be the first person to use the Everywhere experiment aboard the International Space Station for Expedition 5051. Again, Everywhere is a French-designed technology that Pesquet will use for the first time in orbit.
Copy.
We see pry range at 146, and the light is within the corridor. On monitor 1, that's camera 3, S1 lower outboard, the vehicle size is approximately equal to the outline. The light is offset from the circle by 2 vehicle widths starboard and 1/2 vehicle width forward. And the circle has no offset from the corridor center. On monitor 3, which is the camera 9, P1 lower outboard, we see the vehicle essentially completely aligned with the outline and the light inside the circle.
Houston copies all.
The Cygnus cargo vehicle now just under 120 meters from the International Space Station, as the station flies 260 meters above the Earth, now entering an orbital sunrise. We're about to experience a handover here in just under 2 minutes. We'll have a short loss in video communication with the ISS, but the Cygnus is well on its way to the 100-meter mark and the 30-meter hold point. Confirmation from VVO. Cygnus cargo vehicle has just passed the 100-meter mark on its way to the 30-meter hold point. Running a bit behind schedule. Capture is estimated now at around 6:25 a.m. Central Time. Again, the Cygnus cargo vehicle passed the 100-meter mark on its way to the 30-meter hold point. As we regain video communications here, the Cygnus cargo vehicle now entering an orbital sunrise. The capture window has been delayed by about 20 minutes, now estimated around 6:25 a.m. Central Time. This is nominal. There is a window between 6:36 a.m. Central Time and 7:33 a.m. Pardon me, 6:33 a.m. Central Time. This is nominal. The capture point originally scheduled for 6:05 a.m. now delayed to 6:25. Still within the window. Everything's still looking nominal. A good view of the Cygnus cargo vehicle, now just about 50 meters away from the International Space Station. As it approaches an orbital sunrise just off the west coast, approaching the west coast of Chile. The ultraflex solar arrays now glistening in the orbital sunrise.
Station on Space Ground 2 with the Block Bravo call if you're ready to copy.
Ready to copy.
Yeah, and we are seeing converging on both monitors 1 and 3, now that we can resolve a little bit better in orbital day. On monitor 3, that's camera 9, P1 lower outboard, we are seeing a very slight half to quarter vehicle with port offset from the circle, no offset forward aft. And monitor 1, camera 3, S1 lower outboard, is also converging. We see one vehicle with offset starboard and no offset forward aft. All other calls are nominal.
Copy, that's a great read. Thanks, Kate.
A good report from Cygnus's position from Kate Rubens aboard the International Space Station, now visiting Vehicle Officer VVO Jerry Yancheris, confirms Cygnus is in a good position again for capture at 6:25 a.m. Central Time. The Cygnus cargo vehicle now 45 meters and closing. The next update is the 30-meter mark. Ground controllers here at the International Space Station Flight Control Room and in Dulles, Virginia at Orbital ATK's Mission Control Center will be assessing the 30-meter depart point to begin the next step for and prepare for Cygnus's capture, again at 6:25 a.m. Central Time. Flight controllers already looking at the systems to make sure we can make the capture point on time. everything looking nominal. The capture point window ends at 6:33 a.m. Central Time. Cygnus cargo vehicle closing in on the 30-meter holding point as the International Space Station flies 255 statute miles above the west coast of Chile, approaching the western border of Bolivia.
Station Houston, confirm 30-meter hold and set up for capture per step 6 in 1.102.
For step 6 in 1.102, we have the VV mode is hold. High range is 30.97. We're going to leave the light where it is, and we can confirm the PCS lights are as expected.
Copy all. Thanks, Kate.
Confirmation from Kate Rubins aboard the International Space Station. The Cygnus cargo vehicle has entered the 30-meter holding point. Ground controllers here are assessing the new departure time to begin departing the 30-meter point for capture. Again, capture is currently scheduled at 6:25 a.m. Central Time. Cameras orienting to get a good view of the Cygnus cargo vehicle now holding at the 30-meter point. The robotic station's robotic arm now in full view. Ground controllers here will continue to assess to make sure the Cygnus cargo vehicle will be ready to depart the 30-meter point and begin the capture sequence. Again, capture is scheduled for 6:25 a.m. Central Time. The International Space Station is now flying 252 statute miles above the northeastern coast of Brazil, about to enter the Atlantic Ocean. Once the station's robotic arm captures the Cygnus cargo vehicle, it will be maneuvered into position for berthing at the aft and the nadir port of the Unity module. This is the Earth-facing side of the Unity module at about the center of the International Space Station. The Cygnus cargo vehicle continuing to hold at the 30-meter holding point as planned as the station passes 251 statute miles just north of the border of French Guiana, now approaching over the Atlantic Ocean. Again, capture is scheduled for 6:25 a.m. Central Time. The robotic arm will be maneuvered by ground controllers to the berthing position at the nadir port of the Unity module on the International Space Station. On board are 2.5 tons of food supplies and experiments. We've talked a little bit about some of the experiments on board. Another one is the Fast Neuron Spectrometer. This studies the radiation environment on the International Space Station by looking at high-energy neurons. Outside the magnetic field of the Earth, astronauts are exposed to space radiation that can reduce immune response and increase risk of cancer and interfere with electronics. The Fast Neutron Spectrometer, or FNS, will use a new technique that measures these neutrons. Neutrons pass through most measuring systems undetected, but the FNS will use what's called a gate and capture technique that slows them down through a special glass fibers loaded with lithium. This method produces a flash of light, which the FNS will analyze to determine the radiation level. This equipment specifically reacts to neutrons as opposed to other equipment and improves the accuracy of these measurements. Understanding the radiation environment, especially beyond the protective magnetosphere of the Earth, is vital for sending humans on the journey to Mars. A good view of Cygnus as the station passes over the North Atlantic Ocean, again holding at 30 meters, scheduled for a capture time of 6:25 a.m. Central Time. Ground controllers continue to assess the departure of the 30-meter mark to begin capture, now scheduled for 6:25 a.m. Central Time. In order to meet the window that closes at about 6:33 a.m. Central Time, the ground controllers are choosing to depart the 30 meters no later than 16 minutes from now.
Houston Station on Space to Ground 2 in Step 3.2. The crew is ready for Cygnus approach to capture point.
Excellent. Copy that. Thanks, Kate. And station back with you on Space to Ground 2. Cygnus is ready to proceed to the capture point. Expect approach to resume shortly.
Copy.
Confirmation from Kate Rubins aboard the International Space Station. Everything looking good on her end from the cupola workstation aboard the International Space Station, as her and Takuya Onishi are in the cupola with the controls to the robotic arm, now ready for the to depart the 30-meter mark, and Cygnus will begin its final approach for capture, now still scheduled for 6:25 a.m. Central Time.
Station Houston on 2. Cygnus has resumed approach to the capture point. Monitor approach within 30 meters per Step 7 in 1.102. The crew is primed to issue retreat if pry range less than 6 meters.
Copy, and we see VV mode is approach. Pry range is 27.6, and we are performing the corridor monitoring. We see the vehicle, all nominal calls and centered up in both monitor 1 and 3, and copy our go for the abort and retreat columns.
That's good copy. Thanks, Kate.
Confirmation that the Cygnus cargo vehicle has departed the 30-meter mark, now slowly but surely making its way towards the capture point, 26.3 meters and closing. Everything looking nominal from the cupola workstation and from ground controllers here at the International Space Station Flight Control Room in Houston, Texas, and at the Orbital ATK Flight Control Room in Dulles, Virginia. .2 meters and closing for the Cygnus cargo vehicle to reach the capture point. VVO estimates reaching the capture point in just about 5 minutes. Cygnus cargo vehicle, 17.3 meters and closing to the capture position. Still on track for a confirmed capture in about 13 minutes. A good view of the Cygnus cargo vehicle approaching the camera view of the station's robotic arm as it closes in on the capture point, estimated to arrive in just under 2 minutes. The International Space Station now flying 250 statute miles just north of the border of Spain.
And Station, this is Houston back with you on Space to Ground 2. Confirm capture point hold per step 8 and 1.102.
Copy. In step 8 of 1.102, the pry range is 12.003. The rate is 0.003. The VV mode changed to CP hold. The PCS HCP LED configurations are as expected, and the grapple fixture has been stable within the capture volume. The dot is within the outer quarter of the nested corridors. We currently see a TDRS to VV LOS yellow limit check message, and the lighting conditions are good for capture.
Houston copies all.
We are good for capture conditions confirmed and the crew ready for capture with the exception of the TDRS to VV LOS message, which has been popping in and out. And we assume that this is a limit check violation where commands cannot be sent via the PCS.
Understand, all, Kate. We'll look into that and stand by for capture.
Confirmation that the Cygnus cargo vehicle is holding at its capture position just about 12 meters away from the International Space Station. Kate Rubens reports a good configuration. The station's robotic arm ready for capture, now just waiting for the go.
Okay, station back with you on 2. Just to follow up on that message with you, you're getting that because Cygnus does not have a good TDRS link right now, although it should be getting back in approximately 3 seconds. But PROX has been solid this whole time, so PCS commands should go through no problem.
Copy all. Thank you for those words. And we are standing by for your go.
Understand, and with that, go for Cygnus capture sequence, step 4 in 1.110, Cygnus capture. Begin monitoring the back-away cue card.
Copy. Back-away cue card is in monitor, and we are in 1.110 Cygnus capture robo procedure, step 4. Copy your go.
All good words.
Confirmation from Capcom, Rebecca Wingfield to NASA astronauts Kate Rubens and Takuya Onishi standing by in the cupola workstation. They are go for capture. We should be seeing the station's robotic arm start moving closer to the Cygnus cargo vehicle, getting ready for capture. Still scheduled for 6:25 a.m. Central Time.
Station on Space to Ground 2, just to triple check and verify, we are go for capture with the TDRS to VV LOS message still showing on monitor 1 in the display.
Go for capture.
B.
Confirmed go for capture of the Cygnus Orbital ATK's OA-5 mission. We're experiencing a loss in video communications, hopefully to regain back shortly. This is as expected. Kate Rubin's now beginning the capture sequence. Robot station's robotic arm 3 meters in closing. Two meters away from capture. One meter to capture. Over the pin. And we have a confirmed capture, 6:28 a.m. Central Time, 250 miles above Kyrgyzstan.
Houston station of Spacegram 2, Cygnus capture is complete. What a beautiful vehicle. Congratulations to the Orbital ATK team and the teams in Houston and Tsukuba on a successful arrival of Cygnus 5 to the International Space Station. And thank you very much for bringing tons of science and supplies to the station. Capturing a visiting vehicle is like finishing the last 195 meters of a marathon. There are many people who have been working on this vehicle for a long time. So as a member of the ISS crew, I would like to express my appreciation to all the people who are involved in this resupply mission. This vehicle, which is named after our friend our Poindexter added a new page to the history of the ISS. So welcome back, Cygnus. And Houston, you guys are go for Cygnus post-capture reconfiguration.
We copy, and congratulations to the onboard crew. You guys made it look really easy. Great job.
Some congratulatory words from Takuya Onishi, now in the Cupola workstation aboard the International Space Station, working with Kate Rubins for Cygnus's capture. Again, capture was confirmed at 6:28 a.m. Central Time, 250 miles above Kyrgyzstan. Ground controllers will continue to maneuver the station's robotic arm into its berthing position at the nadir port of Harmony, Earth-facing side of, Unity, the module at the center of the International Space Station. After launching 6:45 p.m. Central Time on Monday, October 17th, from the NASA Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, or MARS, on top of Orbital ATK's upgraded Antares 230 rocket with 2.5 tons of food supplies and experiments, the Cygnus cargo vehicle on its OA-5, Orbital ATK's OA-5 mission has been confirmed, captured by the station's robotic arm at 6:28 a.m. Central Time, 250 miles above Kyrgyzstan. The station's robotic arm is currently being configured to move into its berthing position at the nadir end of Unity, the center of the International Space Station's configuration, the Earth-facing side, the nadir port. We will resume coverage for the berthing of the Cygnus cargo vehicle to the Unity module. Scheduled coverage will start at 8 a.m. Central Time. Again, capture was confirmed at 6:28 a.m. Central Time, 250 miles above Kyrgyzstan. We will resume coverage for the berthing of the Orbital ATK Cygnus cargo vehicle on its OA-5 mission at 8 a.m. Central Time. A great mission for Orbital ATK and the resupply mission until 8 o'clock for the berthing coverage of Cygnus vehicle to the International Space Station. This is Mission Control, Houston.